Hello everyone, this is ERB Reviews, and today we're taking a look at the PlayStation Vita that arrived on my doorstep today, as promised by Amazon, so thanks Amazon. Everyone's done a lot of reviews on the functionality of the device, you know, the analog joysticks, the directional pads, the buttons. There's really not much different I can say about what everyone's already said. Obviously you have the front-facing camera, the rear-facing camera. One question I did get a lot of when I started talking about this was, where do the games go? Well, get a fingernail wedged in there and you actually have a game slot where you get your hard disk. It's actually like a secure disk looking card that actually slots in there, or you can download the games, as many people have already reviewed on. This little door next to it is some type of cable accessory door, which I've yet to figure out what cable is going to be going in there, but I haven't really looked into it yet, so I'm not beating myself up too much. Again, the volume button's up on the top. One trick I already learned: if you push the two volume buttons down at the same time, it actually mutes the device. And then the bottom you have the cable connector and the headphones jack. As many people may or may not have noticed, there is no replaceable battery, and it is also a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. So when the battery dies, you're sending it off to Sony to get repaired, which I think is kind of bogus. And again, down here on the bottom is the memory card slot, which I have an 8 gig card that came with my kit. I bought this as a bundle for $2.99 from Amazon. It came with the memory card, some free, somewhat bogus offers from AT&T. Basically a lot of smoke and mirrors. Just don't plan to be suckered into buying the AT&T plans for the free game. You're probably just better off buying the game yourself outright and not getting fixed into the what I call the AT&T magic cloud of diversion. So what I have here is we're looking at the desktop, and what you're seeing here are some games I already have: Uncharted, Little Deviant, and Rayman Origin. And then there's some other icons that come with the PlayStation already loaded. Some of them you can dismiss and delete, and most of the PlayStation ones are fixed, and you cannot. Basically the ones you download you can, and like the AT&T one down here, I've moved to the bottom screen, you cannot. Welcome Park is actually an interesting one. It's just a quick tutorial, how you use the device, how you touch the screen, how you interact with the PlayStation Vita. I'm going to show you a quick little demo. I mean, a lot of people have already talked about Uncharted. I'm actually going to show you the colors and just some of the, you know, just the wonderful vividness of the screen of this OLED 5-inch screen. I have Rayman Origin here already teed up, and hopefully my camcorder does it justice to show you basically how well this device looks when you're playing games. I have the sound turned down now, so you don't get really not getting a full preview of what this is capable of. But this game is a very family-oriented game. It's like a kind of a Sonic game. If you're interested in that kind of game, then it's great. So down here on the bottom button here is the PlayStation button, and that's really like your back button. So if you want to get out of the game and you want to pause it or you want to move on, you just press the PlayStation button and it moves on. Peel the screen down actually closes the application, returns you to the live screen. Now what's kind of cool is if you did pause the game and you simply just want to go back to the desktop, there is a back arrow here. So you can leave the game running, and it's still running there kind of in the background. If you want to just go back to the home screen, maybe to check messages or Facebook or whatever it is you might be doing on it, you can, and then you can flip right back. Some of the other programs here are maps, which I haven't really had a chance to mess with too much. Videos, obviously, you can buy a lot of pay multimedia services from PlayStation, and I think that you know, they're probably reasonably priced. I'm sure they're competitive with the rest of the online streaming services. So with that said, there's really not many other features that you probably can't find already blazing around on YouTube. But I do like the device. It does feel good and solid, like everyone's kind of reported. Now, I have pretty big hands, and one thing I have to say right off the bat is I do find it a bit difficult for my hands to maneuver the touchscreen on the back. I find myself bending my fingers quite a bit because I just generally want to wrap around the device. I wouldn't say it's something that would deter me from buying the device, but I would just say that's something to be aware of, that if you have big hands, you might find some of the button locations in the layout a bit of a kind of a memorization type struggle for your brain until you kind of get used to the layout. And what's also a little trippy is that if you're used to playing a PlayStation 3, you're kind of used to these buttons, but you know, they're obviously in a bit of a different position than your PlayStation 3 controller, and kind of gives it a bit of a different feel but there's also some familiarity as well. Again, the front-facing camera, which I didn't point out before, and I think I already got the rear-facing camera. Camera quality is adequate at best. I wouldn't say it's going to replace your 8 megapixel Nikon point and shoot, or if you have a DSLR, but it apparently does the job. I think the rear camera is actually worse. Obviously, has a lower resolution. I think Sony probably could have did a better job of putting a better camera in there, but who knows why they didn't. Feels good. $299. Probably worth it. I did have a PSP 3000 before I bought this device that I sold a few months ago, and then thought that I really needed this, and maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse, but I think overall it's going to be a great little toy to have around the house. Something to continue to play with. The games look great, sounds great with a good pair of headphones, and already has a lot of games that I've watched with it, so I think you can enjoy it. Lastly, I'll probably comment on the battery life. It's something that everyone has kind of been talking about. Now, I can tell you I started playing this at about 9 p.m. Settings. Now, it wasn't straight gameplay. It was more setting up the device, mucking around a little bit with the 3G, AT&T trying to suck me into signing up for their Data Connect plan. Be very careful. They want you to sign up for the Data Connect plan and not their cheapy $15 plan. That's how you get the free game, by the way. You have to sign up for the Data Connect plan. But if you notice, I'm already at half battery life here, and I kind of find that a little bit disturbing that I've only been playing it for a couple hours, on and off, I must say, too, nonetheless. And it hasn't been straight gameplay, and the battery is already halfway depleted. So the reports that the battery would maybe last about 4 hours seem to be true. I also noticed the device gets very warm. I have an iPad. I can handle that thing for hours at a time watching movies and never, ever, ever gets warm. This device does get warm. You definitely feel it heating up, and it's kind of a bit of annoying. Other than that, I really don't have any complaints about it. It feels really solid. As I mentioned before, a lot of fingerprints, so you'll be doing a lot of polishing. But overall, I think it's a great little toy, and I think you're going to enjoy it.